welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And it's that time of the week, time to preview the next Carolina Panthers game. This week, the Panthers are hosting the Detroit Lions.
Battles of the Cats. Battle Cats.
Yeah, this should be a fun one because I think we have a very good chance of winning this game, as we'll talk about in our preview. Brought to you by Manscaped. Check out manscaped.com for all of your male grooming needs. Lawnmower 3.0 is awesome. They include a free pair of boxers in every kit. They've got body wash, shampoo, nail clippers, ball wipes, ball deodorant.
Just in time for the holidays.
Just in time for the holidays. Manscaped.com. Promo code MeowMix Podcast, all one word, get you 20% off and free shipping on every order. So check it out. All right. We will start off, as we always do, with the injury reports. And unfortunately, there's a lot of them. We'll start with the Lions. Lions, some interesting ones here. We'll start with the DNPs. Danny Amendola, wide receiver. Austin Bryant, defensive end. Marvin Jones, wide receiver. Matt Stafford, quarterback. Any of those names jump out at you, Jerry?
Well, Matt Stafford has already basically said he's going to play.
Yeah.
So he's trying to rest that right thumb. But two out of their three starting wide receivers are on this list with a hip and knee injuries. Neither one of those are good for a receiver missing.
No, and we haven't even gotten to Kenny Golladay, their number one receiver, who is also on this list as a limited practice participant. We'll start off there. Kenny Golladay with a hip. Jared Davis, linebacker. TJ Hawkinson, tight end. They're starting tight end. Christian Jones, linebacker. And I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce this name. Vaitai is the last name.
I will try because I butcher all the names. Halapaluvati Vataya.
I think it's Vaitai for sure on the last name. But good job on the first name. That was better than I thought. And then Nick Williams, and then just, full practice Jamal Agnew, who is like a hybrid guy. But yeah, Kenny Golladay, TJ Hawkinson was this kind of a surprise to me. I didn't realize that he was on the list. Golladay has missed the last couple of games for the Lions. Mm-hmm. He is back practicing this week, so he could be back. That would be a big one if he missed. Marvin Jones, who basically has gone off since Golladay went out as a DNP, is interesting. And of course, Amendola, the other wide receiver. So three of their wide receivers on the injury report.
Marvin Jones is a really good player. He's one of those underrated guys, and he always performs really well. 1,000-yard season, 1,100-yard season, and he's just quiet about it because he's there in Detroit. And now playing opposite of Golladay, I mean, they have a scary receiving core. Their offense is really pretty good.
Yeah, and we'll talk about some of their other skill players here in a few minutes. But TJ Hawkinson's that's a bit of a sneaky one on the injury report here. If he's out, then that's big for them because he's a big red zone guy, and he's pretty big part of their offense. So we'll move on to the Panthers. Unfortunately, we know for a fact that obviously Christian McCaffrey is out. Dante Jackson is out. Russell Okung is out. Okay, they're all out. John Miller did not practice. Tahir Whitehead did not practice. Bridgewater limited practice. Sam Franklin limited practice. Gross Matos, Marquise Haynes, Chris Manhertz, all limited practice. And then Mike Davis listed on the report, but full practice with a thumb injury. So he should play. So obviously we've talked about Teddy a little bit. Let's talk about him more now. I think he'll probably play. He was a limited practice, as we said today. He's on the sidelines with the red jersey. He has been reported that there's no limp, whereas a couple of days ago he definitely had a bit of a limp. So he does seem to be getting better. I think he'll probably be out there.
I do too. I can't see him not being out there unless the knee is really, really bothering him. Mm-hmm. He may be not as mobile as he has been. And unfortunately, the O-line hasn't been protecting him that well. I mean, the good thing is the Lions defense isn't great. So,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, we'll talk about some of their numbers here in a minute. But anybody else on this list? I mean, Dante Jackson being out it's a
I
big
hope he
one, but
sits
I
out.
think I was going to say, I think he's going to be in the same boat as McCaffrey here. I think he's out for the next 2 weeks and hopefully back after the bye.
That's what I hope for him too, because he has been trying to fight through that toe injury and it's just not working. It's time to hang it up, give him a few weeks off, let him come back healthy with his
Yep.
toe. It's obviously bothering him. He plays one snap and it then goes out. He's been doing limited practices, so just let him rest.
Yep. Agreed. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into the preview.
The Lions average 25.2 points per game, average 101 yards on the ground and 258 yards through the air. Now on defense, they give up 29.7 points per game, 141 yards on the ground and 258 yards through the air. So the ground, I think it's time to see Mike Davis turn and a little bit of Smith. Practice squad Smith coming up and run the ball, because Bonnevin's out. Trenton Cannon's hasn't shown anything that he can run the ball. So,
yeah, boy, this would have been a nice game to have McCaffrey.
Oh yeah.
Here's a next level stat for you, Jerry. In Detroit's 5 losses, they have given up an average of 193.2 yards on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
In their 4 wins, 77 yards on the ground. So that's a massive discrepancy. And that tells you what the Panthers need to do. They need to control the ball. They need to run the ball. With McCaffrey out, it's going to be incumbent on Mike Davis to have his first really good rushing game of the year.
I think also Curtis Samuel could have a lot of rushing yards in this game.
Yeah.
I know I said Rodney Smith just a second ago, but the more I was thinking about it, Curtis Samuel breaks off those like 15, 20-yard runs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he squirts through that hole quickly, and he's in that secondary quick. I could see him having 50, 60 yards rushing himself.
That would be pretty great. I don't know if I see that. I mean, do you feel strongly about that?
If you're thinking beer bet, I am willing to do that, but I'd say 40 over under.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take under that. I think it's Curtis Samuel could have a very good game. 40 yards on the ground. I mean, let's see. He's going to have to break a big one to get that, because I don't see him getting like 4 yards a carry, getting 40 yards. But yeah, I'll do that. I'll go under.
Beer bet of the week. And with our beer bets, basically we just bet on something, and the next time we record, we bring the other person beer. Now, unfortunately, this year it's been virtual beers as we are recording via Zoom, but that's the initial thought of the beer bet. So this week, our beer bet is over under 40 rushing yards for Curtis Samuel. I have the over. Steven has the under.
Yes. And I did want to talk about Curtis Samuel a little bit. He was not involved that much last week. At least not to the extent that he had been the previous several weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like that's important for the Panthers to have him involved. Offense always runs better. He's good in the red zone. He's great on third down. Do you obviously you foresee them having him more involved this week based on that conversation?
Yeah, he seems to be the wheel that makes this offense run. When he was out for those couple games, the offense struggled. And when he's in, he usually does. But when he performs better, the whole offense seems to perform better.
Yeah.
I've always been a big fan of Curtis Samuel. And this year I've really become not solidified, but it really kind of reaffirmed what I was always thought about him.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, and I've been a little less of a Curtis Samuel believer, I guess. But he's made me a believer this year. Like I see the talent. I mean, I've always seen the talent, but I'm starting to see the production, and he's staying healthy. And I think that getting him more involved is going to be very important for the Panthers. So I did want to mention here, the Lions, you said all of their stats and they don't sound great. They have won 3 of their last 5. However, their average strength of victory is the lowest in the NFL outside of the NFC East. You look at the NFC East; they all play each other, right? So you kind of have to discount them. So yeah, but they're
literally 5 wins is going to win that division.
yeah, I mean, it really might. But the Lions' strength of victory is 333. So that means that who they've beaten, their average record is 333, right? That's pretty low. That's pretty bad. So the Lions are like that team that maybe beats up on the bad teams. I don't think the Panthers are a bad team. I think the Panthers are a mediocre team who should win this game.
Yeah, this kind of a litmus test for the Panthers because
Yeah.
I feel like the Detroit Lions are on par with the Carolina Panthers. They're not a great team, like you said, that's pushing for a playoff spot, but they're also not going to be pushing for a top 5 pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very similar. Like the offenses have good skill players.
Mm-hmm.
On Detroit, you've got Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones, Marvin Hall is also very good wide receiver. They've started moving towards DeAndre Swift as their running back, the rookie this year. He had a real nice game last week. And they do have Adrian Peterson on that team, who has been getting a lot of the work, and they're sort of moving away from him, which I think is smart for them because DeAndre Swift is pretty good. And then their defense has a lot of holes. They don't rush the quarterback well. They're averaging 1.4 sacks per game.
Mm-hmm. And most of that's one player. Let me pull up his name. I can't remember how to say it. Romeo Akoware. He has 6 sacks. Yeah. He has 6 of their 13 sacks.
Yeah.
He's kind of like their Brian Birds.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game. I think Teddy's gonna have time to throw, assuming he's out there, or whoever's out there is gonna have time to throw. And if we can run the ball, then that's gonna open up the passing game. It's gonna open the play action. This could be a big game for the Panthers. Could be you're gonna see in my game prediction that I think there's gonna be a lot of points scored in this game.
I 100% agree with a high scoring game. I don't think either one of these teams have a great defense, and I agree. It's gonna be what defense is able to stop them on third down to force them to punt. Because I don't think field goals are going to win this game on either side either. I think it's going to be in the end zone.
Yeah, I agree. And punting, our beer bet was going to be about punting, a little jokey one, but it is very serious. Like the Panthers have to get off the field on third down. Gotta force some punts.
Can't give up 3rd and 19s, 3rd and 11s, 3rd and longs. You have to get off the field.
They've forced a few punts towards the end of the game in some of these games where the other team is basically just running the ball. And the Panthers know they're going to run the ball and they can stop it. But do you know of a time that they've punted in the first half? Do you remember a time? Like, I don't even remember. It's been several weeks, I think. So, I mean, maybe there was one here or there, but it's been pretty like a running joke that the Panthers don't force punts.
No.
Don't get off the field. Do the Panthers try a fake punt this week?
I hope not. I hope not, just because I feel that they've done it so much the past 2-3 games that at this point you're obviously showing your hand. So all the teams are going to be ready for it. Now, could I see a fake field goal? Maybe. Could I see them going for it on 4th down and just leaving the offense? Sure. Like we discussed last time. But for the most part, Carlton, I was impressed with his arm, but these players are aware that they're going to go for it a lot. Tampa Bay called it out.
Yeah, Panthers have gone for 16 4th downs so far this season. They've converted 9 of them. So that's 56%. That's right around league average for converting 4th downs. Only 4 teams have gone for it more on 4th down than the Panthers. Or actually, I should say only 3 teams have gone for it more. The Falcons have gone for it as much. Actually, the Falcons are also 9 for 16. So, but yeah, that's definitely something that is different in the Matt Rule era that I like. I love it when he goes for the 4th down.
Because I've been really impressed with the aggression. Yeah. There's been 1 or 2 times where I'm like, what are you doing? Take the 3 points. But then he makes it or not. And I'm happy with the aggression because at this point, why not?
Yeah. I mean, it's exciting. Usually the Panthers need to keep moving the ball because they have to score because the defense isn't stopping anyone. So I don't know if I love it when he goes for it in the red zone when we could potentially just kick a field goal and get some points on the board for sure. But usually it works out. So the Panthers haven't forced a ton of turnovers this season. I think that's going to be a key in this game. And really moving forward, I think the Panthers need to start turning the ball over on defense. Maybe even have a couple of nice special teams plays, one we saw last week, a few we saw last week, but specifically the return, which was nice to see. So I think some of these non-offensive big plays, because we've seen a lot of offensive big plays, but defensive big plays we need to see, and that includes turnovers, sacks. I mean, these are things that the Panthers just aren't doing that successful teams do. And I'm hoping that we see some of that this week. Question for you. What do you think the Panthers plus minus is on turnovers this year? Any guess?
I would say it's only like +2 or so. Because honestly, I feel like we've been turning the ball over about the same amount as we give it up every time. Like last week, 1-1.
Yeah, it's +3, which I was honestly a little surprised about. I didn't think we were in the plus. I thought we were like -2 or something. So that's actually not bad. Bold predictions. Why don't you kick it off?
I have a bold prediction that Mike Davis will have over 150 total yards this game.
I think that's quite possible.
I think a lot of it's going to be on the ground.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like we said, Detroit's run defense is pretty bad, especially when they lose. It's horrid. So mine's maybe a little lame, but optimistic. I think the Panthers don't give up any sacks and they don't turn the ball over at all in this game. Call it not quite bold, but I think it is my prediction. I think if it happens, it bodes very well for the Panthers.
Yeah, I agree. If that happens, it bodes very well for our offense.
Yeah. All right. Game predictions. I see this being a high-scoring game. Like I said earlier, I think the Panthers will get on track, and they're going to score enough points to win. I got Panthers 38, Lions 28.
Nice. I also think this is going to be a high-scoring game. But until this defense can force teams to punt...
I was wondering if you're going to do this.
I cannot pick the Carolina Panthers to win. They need to stop the opposing team. Detroit Lions 34, Carolina Panthers 30.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna call you out on that if you didn't pick the Lions to win because of what you said last week. So
until they could start forcing them to punt. I mean,
you're a man of integrity.
I mean, it's just logic. If you can't stop them, then how are you going to win the ball or win the game?
I'm hoping that we do stop them.
And it's also, I've been picking them every week and we keep losing. So maybe I'm bad luck. Maybe I need to start picking against them.
There you go. That's the way to look at it.
Because I think
you're trying to help the team.
I think the other time I picked against them, we won. So
yeah. Well, not against the Chiefs, probably.
No, it wasn't against the Chiefs. But if we had a performance again like we had against the Chiefs, against the Detroit Lions, and we should win that game.
We'll shellac them. I mean, my prediction would come true probably because they would destroy the Lions. The Lions are not a great team. So, like you said earlier, litmus test. This is a game the Panthers should win.
If we're really going into the right direction, like we hope and feel,
and assuming Teddy plays.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank everyone for listening. If you like our show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. If you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on our show.
We will have a new show out Monday morning, recapping the Panthers-Lions game. And until then, everyone stay safe and keep pounding.